And we're back! Money goddesses! Feeling free and alive. Okay, so if you've done your 3 most damaging stories around money, I would now like you to prove, so like play the game, imagine that you're going to court, let's say, and that's the story that are you the defense or the prosecution? Maybe that's the prosecution story and you're the defense, and you've got to totally prove how that is not true. How it's totally inaccurate and not true. Okay, so all of the stuff that you've written, now I want you to prove how it's not true. Be your own defense in your own courtroom and prove. Do another write-up for each stories proving to yourself how it's not true. And at the end of you proving to yourself that it's not true, go one step further and even state how it may have benefited you in some way. Okay. Now this might be challenging, and it might be, if it's fairly recent, it might be too triggering, too scarring. There may be still lots of blame going on, especially if somebody else was involved or XYZ has happened. So we might need to do, in some cases, a little bit of forgiveness. And I'll probably write the forgiveness story in here as well, in case it just needs to be heard again. But essentially, you don't want to be carrying around somebody else's poison and expecting them to die. This is for you to rewrite this for you. There is no... If you're still going, if you're still fighting for why you can't rewrite that in a positive way and prove that it's not real, and you're still in a state of, everyone else is to blame, da-da-la-da-la-da-la-da. It wasn't my fault, I did nothing, still feeling awful. The only person that's losing is you. The only person that's feeling pain is yourself, I suppose. By feeling that pain, you're never going to get the other person to see your perspective. You can flip your perspective and go, okay, which parts of this are a perpetual story that perhaps now I am taking out of context, I've maybe made up, or blown out of proportion. Let's just settle. Let's play this game for the sake of playing this game. If I was in a judge and jury situation and I was playing the defense, how would I prove this story inaccurate and not true? What are the possibilities here for the defense? Just play. Just play the game with yourself. No wrong, right, good or bad. Justification, this, that and the other. This is an exercise to give yourself freedom and liberation. It's up to you whether you do it or not. But that's my offering. And then how it's benefited. And if anyone is struggling with this and they need to do a bit more forgiveness or get some serious rage out of the body, then yeah, we can go a bit deeper and let me know. But I think everyone will be able to do this on their own themselves really effectively. So, then the next step of how each benefited you, you can... Then the next step of that is to ask yourself, what's my life going to be like if I keep believing these stories? So you've got the 3 most damaging stories for you around money. And then ask yourself a projection into the future. What's my life going to be like if I keep believing these stories? What does the future relationship with money hold for me if I keep believing these stories? And then ask yourself, what will my life look like if I can believe a more supportive story? And if you're not quite there yet, you can say, I'm open to believing and leading a new story. I'm open to believing and leading a new story. Okay. So spin-off homework then from this one is, once you've disproved your 3 negative stories, then ask yourself how you may have benefited. Ask yourself, what's life going to be like if you continue believing, continue holding on to negative stories around money? And then ask yourself, what's life going to be like if you can create a more positive story around money and things that you would like to happen moving forward? So the next part of this is to write yourself a new money story. Okay. So start writing your perfect money story. Things like, money always flows easily and frequently to me. And you can bat off of anything that's a negative programming at the minute, and then have a new money story attachment to that. So you should have your 3 damaging stories, and then just write yourself like a mini story, how you see your money story going forward. Money always flows easily and frequently to me. I'm always winning prizes or something. And I've always got more than I need. I'm so happy that I can be so generous with money. Find your own unique money story. All the things that you would love to be in your money story. So pretend that there's this perfect character and she's just always got everything that she wants. So imagine you're like the richest person on earth. What would your money story be? What's your perception of somebody's money story that's got absolutely everything that they could desire? And what would you want for you? So, write and disprove your 3 stories. Then write how they've each benefited you. Then write your more supportive money story. Now, by doing this more supportive money story, you might bring up old limiting beliefs around money. So if you're going through your story and you're like, well, I would like money to be really easily made, but it's not, then have a little limiting beliefs column by your money story as you're going through and writing all the wonderful things. This perfect money story for you. You might be like, well, one of my limiting beliefs is that making money is hard. Write that down as a limiting belief column, because you're the perfect version of money story will bring up limiting beliefs. So have a limiting beliefs column. And one of those might be, yeah, that it's hard. That my belief is that we need to be working hard for our money, because that's what happened, that's what Dad taught me, and you can't just do nothing and have money fall in your lap, but we must work really hard for money. Limiting belief column. And loads of more other ones might show up, you know, I'm not deserving, or it's still greedy, whatever the limiting belief is. You know, my family would hate me, I would be disowned by them, or whatever the limiting negative thing is of why this story could not be true. The version of your money story that you would like, as you're writing it, write down the limiting beliefs that's like, psh, yeah. Okay? I hope that's clear enough. So you will have a judge and a jury of anything negative that's ever happened to you around money, a version of events of why that's possibly not true, and also some facts about how it could have actually been beneficial and benefited you. Then a version of the perfect money story, and a column of limiting beliefs. Okay? Lovely. So do those beautiful homeworks, and I'll see you in the next video.